All right, welcome back. Welcome back to the Friday night prepper pre-party show. I'm going to give everybody a few minutes here to get in the chat room. We're going to talk. I'm going to give you a little bit of a talk tonight. We're going to do some commentary about the couple things. Actually, there's a lot going on. It was really hard to narrow down for today what we were going to talk about. So one of the big topics for tonight is going to be the short movie that CNN is airing tomorrow. I think it's called The Bunker Boom. Better safe than sorry. Hey, Maccabeus, it's good to see you. That is airing tomorrow night at 9 p.m. on Eastern Standard Time. We're going to get to that a little bit later in the show tonight. And the director, I believe, is Ariana Le Pen. So I saw a little interview with her, a little preview of it. We'll get back to that. There's a lot of stuff going on today. A lot of stuff. Let's start. I guess we'll start with the financial stuff, and we'll just kind of give people. Actually, you know what? We'll do some channel updates and life updates, and then we'll go into all the preparedness kind of stuff. So, still making that transition to my new job, which has been awesome. It's been awesome. But wow, I got a lot going on in my personal life, and it's been really, really hard to find time to record and edit. So I'm trying to get caught up. The last few Tuesdays, I've been showing you guys some stuff that I had recorded earlier. The 511 bag was recorded actually a couple months ago. So I've actually been using that bag for a few months. And so far, it's really working out good for me. Somebody in the audience had suggested, let's do a follow-up in a few months. Let's see how that's doing with some wear and tear after everyday use. I think that's a fantastic idea. I'm also planning a little outdoor adventure later on this summer, early fall maybe. And so I'll try to take it out on that, take it on some hiking and give it, some wear and tear that way and just kind of see how things do. And then what I'll do is I'll take those pouches off and we'll see what kind of wear and tear we have on the points where things would be rubbing up against each other. Hey, Digital Prepper, it's good to see you. So that's thing one. Thing two, the channel update. So I am about 200 hours short of my what I need to apply for monetization. And I think last time when I talked to you guys, I think I said I was 250. So people keep asking me what's taking so long. Well, I'll tell you what's taking so long. A couple things. I had reached the point, and I knew I was coming up on this. So if you're not a content creator, if you're watching this and you're not a content creator, what happens is when you get past a year, your hours from the previous year start expiring. And so I had reached the point from last year where I had started accumulating a decent amount of hours. So you have to get 4,000 hours within a calendar year. Not a calendar year, I'm sorry, within a year. It does, if you're starting out new and you're only getting like 50 hours a month or whatever, don't even worry about it. Start that clock for yourself when you get to the first month where you get a couple hundred hours. And that's where I was at. So July of last year, I had started to get some decent hours. Now I'm hitting that point and those hours are expiring. So I'm like building up, but they're building up almost as fast as they're expiring. And so it's like swimming through quicksand or swimming through mud. That's why it's taking me so long. So I appreciate everybody that's been helping me out. If you're watching the video and you're willing to watch to the end, I really appreciate it. If you're enjoying my content and you want to watch some of my playlists, that definitely helps me out. My goal is still hopefully to be able to apply by the end of August. We'll see how that goes. I was averaging, prior to this, I was averaging about 400 hours a month. And now, I'm still around 400 hours a month, but I'm losing hours at the same time from last year. So that's the update on the channel. I did notice again this week, YouTube's got that glitch again where sometimes you leave a comment on someone's video and it's disappearing. And I noticed that again today. I was watching some people's channels that I follow. And so just so you know, like if you're somebody that I'm interacting with on a regular basis, I am watching your videos. I'm leaving you comments, and then I am even having to go back now because I notice sometimes I go back to check it, and sometimes the comments are there, and sometimes the comments are not there. Now, Maccabeus, you and I have been talking on your channel. I've been checking it on there a lot, and for some reason I leave a comment, and I have to go back like 4 times to get it to stick. And there's another guy I follow who's a weightlifter, and I was leaving some comments on his channel, and I had to go back 3 times. I'm trying to figure out why this happens. It seems to be a glitch. It happens more on my laptop. I don't think I've ever seen it happen on my phone that I can recall. It seems to happen on the laptop. And I'm watching the videos in full. I'm waiting a full minute or two before I make the comment. It's just something weird's going on. And I tweeted at Team YouTube Help probably about a month ago when this was happening. And I got an automated response of like, yeah, we delete false engagement. Well, my engagement's not false. I'm watching these videos. I'm watching them to the end. I always watch, if you're a friend of mine and I interact with you, I'm watching your video to the end, and it's still doing this. And I know other people are reporting the same thing, so I can't seem to get YouTube to take a look at it. If you're having this problem and you want to try tweeting at them, I think it's going to take like dozens and dozens of people tweeting at them like, hey, can you please take a look at this bug? Live streams are probably, thank you, Digital Prepper. Hey, Pilgrim Radio, it's good to see you. The live streams definitely help. So if you're starting out and you're trying to get those hours built up, I do recommend starting live streams earlier. That's one mistake that I made on my channel, was I should have started live streaming earlier. I get way more hours off my live streams than I do on my my regular content videos. I tend to get more views on the other videos, but I get more hours on my live streams. Hey, Stuart, I'm glad you showed up. I wanted to go, do you have a channel? Do you create content? Because I was trying to find you, and I can't, when I do a search, here's another YouTube problem, right? When I do a search for your channel, Stuart, I can't get to, it won't show me Stuart W. So if you could go into the main comment section and just leave me something like a number or something. That way I can track back to your channel. I wanted to check out your channel. All right, so let's go into the other stuff. So a couple other things in the news. If you're into precious metals, oh man, huge price drop. If you've been thinking about getting into precious metals, this is a great entry point in my opinion. Somehow gold dipped below 1800 again, and I keep saying I don't think it's going to happen, and it did. Sarge bought silver on Thursday. I added some silver to my stack, and then it dropped a ton again on Friday. That's the breaks. That's why they say don't time the market. Do your dollar cost averaging and don't worry about it. But I'm still going to time the market because it's fun. Takes like all the time. Yeah, and they reduced the view count too. That's the other thing, Maccabeus, too. Like I can go into my analytics, and if I go back to a live stream from 4 weeks ago, it may show that I have 150 views. But then if I go into the piece of it where it's measuring, there's another screen where it measures like how many hours you've accumulated and how many views, and it'll cut it in half. So I'm actually only getting like, for whatever reason, I think it's a glitch. I don't know if it's intentional or not. I hope not. But I'm only getting like half of the hours that I should be getting from a lot of my videos. Okay, Stuart, thanks. All right, appreciate it. Hey, Silver Oceans, good to see you. Yeah, definitely have seen likes get taken away, and I have been unsubscribed to channels that I follow. Most notably, there was 2. One was like a food blogger, a food vlogger that I follow, and come to think of it, I haven't seen his notifications in a long time, so either he stopped uploading or they unsubscribed to me again. And another one was, some of you guys know this guy, Talonsai. He does like a lot of knife reviews and skateboarding and travel vlogs and stuff like that. They unsubscribed me from his channel, right? So when they do these subscriber audits, it's a bot. It's an AI bot that does that. And it's sometimes, and how this started was a few years ago, a couple of the big YouTubers did a race to like a bazillion subscribers or something ridiculous. And a lot of their fans started creating bot accounts and things like that. And so they responded by creating a more aggressive AI that audits for false engagement. But in the process of that, it definitely is making mistakes, and it can unsubscribe you from channels that you do follow. Bacon, it's so good to see you, brother. How are you? All right, I'm going to get into the next part of it, guys. Finally, a Friday. Sit and drink to birthday today. Oh, man, happy birthday. Hashtag winning. All right, happy birthday, Bacon. That's awesome. Do something fun. That's awesome. So you're a Leo. That's great. Unsub from some big channels, only one small channel. Yeah, man, it's a pain. It's a pain. All right, so on to the next thing anyways. So we're a few minutes in here. I can go ahead and talk about this because you all are regular part of my audience. I have not advertised this, and I'm not going to advertise it because I don't want people to come to my channel just for this. But yes, if I do get approved for monetization someday, I am going to do a live stream, and I'm going to do some GAWs with it. There's probably going to be some comic books in there. There's probably going to be some seed packets in there. There's going to be some silver in there. And I'm kind of looking around, seeing what else. I really would like to do a pocket knife, but I just feel like, I don't know, YouTube probably ain't going to like that, so we're not going to do that this time. I need to find out if that's even doable without getting me into trouble. So not this time, but there will be silver comic book seeds, and I'm going to see what else I can do. That's coming. So that's coming. And I'm not going to advertise for it. You don't have to be subscribed to my channel. You don't have to leave any funny comments or anything like that. You don't even have to like my video. In fact, you can give me a down vote if you don't like it. It's okay. I appreciate the engagement. Just don't use the forbidden words. Yeah, so when I do that GAW, it will be in accordance with all of YouTube's rules. It will not be affiliated with YouTube. They're not responsible for it. You will have to be 18 plus. You have to be living in the United States, the continental United States. And yeah, there'll be no requirements like, you have to be subscribed or anything like that. I'm just not advertising it because my preference would be that it go to somebody who's a regular viewer. Yeah, they do. They come in. They do. They pop into some of the charts, especially, when we talk about stuff that might be a little bit controversial. That's funny, Mac. If you talk about things like pew 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 and stuff like that, I do think they pop in there I guess they're trying to protect the community, whatever. So, if they're here in ghost form or whatever, that's fine. You guys know I don't really talk about stuff that's too controversial. I do talk about stuff in the news, and I talk about preparedness and things like that, but I don't really get too controversial, and I really don't get too political and things like that. I don't talk about that healthcare thing. That really they don't like it if we give information that's deemed by them to be false and that kind of stuff. So I avoid all that stuff. Yeah, the downvotes are fine. They don't hurt your channel. Yeah, the downvotes aren't bad. In fact, I don't even mind if somebody wants to come in and leave a bad comment in my comment section. Like, you know what? At least you gave my channel a chance. You watched it. That's fine. And sometimes those people, if they really hate your channel, they'll keep coming back and they'll watch it. That's actually helping you out. It doesn't hurt you. When I'm not trying to be Howard Stern, but when Howard Stern was gaining some notoriety and he was gaining fame, it was actually the people that disliked him that listened to him on the radio more than his fans. So it doesn't hurt you. All right, so next thing is I want to say we were talking about this a few weeks ago. I was really glad to see that we're starting to bring some of those Afghanistan translators to the United States. We owe them a big debt. I have family. You guys know I'm not military. Sarge is just a nickname. I throw that out every once in a while just to avoid any confusion. I have family that served over in Bagram and back in the United States, of course. And there was a lot of help that they got from the community over there, and some of those people are in danger. I am really, really happy to see that we're bringing them and helping them to get set up in a safe life and their families. I hope we get everybody out that needs to get out. So I just wanted to follow up on that. We talked about that a while ago, and I said, we owe them, and it's good to see that we're paying that debt. I wanted to say real quick, there was another Capitol police officer that died at his own hands this week, and you guys know I work in the field of mental health. I have tremendous love and respect for our first responders. This absolutely breaks my heart, and I hope that I'm not trying to push my faith on anybody or anything like that. I don't get real preachy, but I hope for those of you who are members of the faith community, I hope you'll join me in prayer for those families and prayer for the people in the Capitol Police that they can get whatever mental health help they need. To have 4 in that short 8 months, I mean that's really unheard of. That's not good. So it broke my heart to hear that this week, and I hope you guys will join me in prayer and support for them. quick question, and you guys don't have to answer this. In fact, I don't expect you to answer this. If you're getting VA services and I'm curious what you're seeing in your areas around the country. If you can, email me at Business with Sarge if you feel okay sharing this with me. I'm not going to give your information out or anything like that. I'm just trying to find out, get the pulse of what's going on around the country. Are you having a hard time getting in for services right now? So you can email me at businesswithsarge@gmail.com, or if you're on Instagram, you can contact me there through direct message. Everything _with_Sarge. Just direct message me there. Let me know what you're seeing. And the reason I'm asking that is I heard from a source here. I don't work for the VA, full disclosure. Heard from a source here that they had lost some employees. And I'm just wondering, because working in the mental health field, are people having a hard time getting the services that they need? And again, I'm not going to put anybody's information out there. And if you don't want to share with me, please don't feel obligated, okay? All right, next thing. I think that's all the housekeeping stuff. No, I had one more before I get to the main topic. Let me just check your comments here real quick. Yeah. Okay, that's good. Yeah, I'm concerned about that too, Bacon. I'm not a big fan of censorship. Yeah. Oh, Sarge, good to see you, man. I appreciate it. I'm doing okay. I'm hanging in there. I'm really enjoying my new work. It's good to see you. Yeah, I'd love it. If you can watch my recap, I'd love to hear from you. It's awesome. Thank you for popping in. All right, so next thing is that before I get into the main topic, I just wanted to talk real quickly about the eviction moratorium. Sarge has been talking about this for months, right? I said this was the big elephant in the room that, and what did they do? After it expired, they kicked it again, right? And I am really, really happy that we're not going to have 11 million people out on the street. Believe me, I work in human services. But again, what are we doing for the landlords, right? So my understanding is that there is some money that the landlords can apply for too, but the paperwork, it varies by state. And in a lot of states, this paperwork is really, really extensive and hard to do. It's a bad time to be a landlord. It's a really bad, I feel so bad for the landlords too. Like, this is just awful. And my concern going forward is that, like, when this thing, eventually this eviction moratorium is going to expire, right? Like, they can't keep kicking the can forever. And what are all these landlords, like, I think I read that 80% or 70% of landlords for apartments and houses was like just mom and pop. They're just like, they're not like the top 1% guys. They're like middle-class families that they own, they a lot of times they took out their 401k and put it into trying to build a business where they rent out some property and that kind of thing. And man, for like now a year and almost 6 months or 18 months and going on, because the can got kicked again, they're just getting screwed. I mean, it's just it's not right. It's not right, So, and I'm not saying I want all these people out on the street. Believe me, again, I work in human services. I work with people who are homeless. I don't want that, but I want something to be done right for the landlords. And if you agree with me, give me a thumbs up right now, okay? If you enjoy my content, give me a thumbs up. All right. Any comments about that, about the eviction crisis thing? And do you guys agree with me? Do you think that this is kind of, BS, that the landlords are just getting like, too bad, so sorry? Hey, Sherry, it's good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Cherry. Is it Cherry or Sherry? Yeah, you guys, I get, Silver Oceans, exactly. I don't know if any of you guys own property, but I hope you've been getting paid, man. All right. Let's see. I had a survival story. Maybe we'll save that to the end. I had 2 survival stories, but we're probably not going to have time to... Yeah, exactly. I have empathy for both sides of this. 100% digital prepper. It's a humanitarian crisis on both ends. But you watch some stuff and people are like, well, the landlords can just suck it up for another couple months, and that's not right. I own a small business. My wife owns a small business. I can tell you right now, I'd be pretty livid if I was just told like, well, too bad, you're not getting paid for 18 months. And just to be full disclosure for my consulting business, when this thing started last year, for my clients, I did give them free services for from March to like, I think it was June 1st. I didn't charge my clients because everybody was struggling. Everybody was struggling. And so I did that as like, you know, because we didn't know how long this thing was going to go. So and then we got to like June 1st and I said, hey guys, I gotta start charging again. But I did. I ate some costs. I did that not because the government told me to, because I was in a position that I could. I'm not trying to brag on that or anything like that. But what I'm saying is, if the government had said to me, too bad, Sarge, you can't get paid for 18 months, I'd be livid, you know? And so that's where my empathy comes from for the landlords too, right? I have empathy for the residents that have lost their jobs. You know, maybe they've got health issues. Some of them have lost spouses and things like that. There's issues, I get it. But I also have empathy for the business owners too. And that's just the landlords. We're not even getting into the restaurants and storefronts and everything else that got screwed. Yeah, I guess it's, we'll kick it down the road forever. All right. I'll do the survival story at the end. We'll end on an uplifting note. Let's get into the main story today. So the director's name is, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Ariana Le Pen. So I saw the preview for this on CNN. I watch CNN, I watch a little bit of Fox, I watch MSNBC, I listen to NPR. I try to catch my news from numerous different sources so that I can, and also some European channels and things like that, so that I can try to get, you know, use that critical thinking and make my own decision, because I think each source has its own agenda, right? Each source has its own spin on things, right? So I happen to be catching this, and I caught this commercial that said something about the bunker boom and Doomsday Preppers, and I got triggered. I ain't gonna lie, Sarge got triggered. I'm gonna be honest with you all right now. I've never talked about this on the stream before. I really don't even like the term prepper. I use it, I know what you're saying, it's Sarge, it's your name of your channel is Prepping with Sarge. And I use it in my hashtags and stuff like that. That's how people find my content, right? And I talk about food self-sufficiency, and I talk about foraging, and I like to talk about wilderness survival, and I like to talk about gardening, I like to talk about financial preparedness, and I like to talk about storm preparedness and things like that. People would never find me unless I used the word prepper and prepping, but I really don't like it. And I grew up, those of you guys have been with me for a long time, you know, I've been doing this since I was a kid, since I was a Boy Scout, right? We didn't have this term prepper. I never heard of that until that stupid show, Doomsday Preppers, right? I'm gonna get opinionated now. You guys haven't seen Sarge go on a rant in a while. I never heard of it until then. And I don't like, to me, Doomsday Preppers is a trigger. It's I know I use that because I need people to be able to, so I can help people. So I use it so they can find my content. And I'm probably blowing it out of proportion, right? That trigger. But the show portrayed people who were self-sufficient and thinking ahead as like they were stupid or goofy or unstable. All these horrible ways. It was very exploitive. I see your comments, guys. I'm gonna get to you in just a second. And thank you for the comments. I have a friend. I'm gonna be careful here to protect this person's identity. It's a casual friend through online. Okay, I have a friend who, more of an acquaintance really, who was on the show. And I contacted him a couple times trying to get him as a guest on my channel, and he won't do it. And he won't even tell me why he won't do it. I don't know if it's a non-disclosure agreement. I don't know if he wants to put it behind him, but I do know that the people on that channel got bullied relentlessly because of the exploitive nature of it. And some people say, well, yeah, they got paid. Okay. From what I understand, the way that was filmed is, and I'm going to do a video about this at some point, like showing, you guys know that if you're content creators, you know, with editing, we can make a statement and then you can edit it to be something completely different. And I'm going to show you how we do that in a future video. I could take anybody's clip. I could take a clip from CNN and change it up completely, right? And that's some of these reality shows. That's what they do. And you know, you could say, well, if it was boring, then people wouldn't watch. Okay, but I think it did a real disservice to the idea of being prepared for emergencies. And that's what, if you're going to use the word prepper, that's what it is. It's being prepared for emergencies. It's thinking ahead. It's being self-sufficient. It's reducing your dependence on other people, sometimes on the government, right? On the grocery store, on your primary paycheck. All of that is prepping, right? And other things too. And I recognize that there's other channels that take it to a different area that I don't go to, and that's okay. There's homesteading, right? There's bushcrafting. There's people who just do, you know, the shopping piece of it, right? Like where they're hunting for good deals. There's people who just want to talk about the food and the gardening. So there's all different areas, and it gets kind of lumped in under this. There's survivalism. It just gets lumped into this thing that I guess is called prepping. So I saw the commercial, and I did get a little triggered, and I go, oh, here we go again. They're gonna exploit the community. They're gonna make us look stupid. They're gonna make us look unstable. They're gonna have a good laugh. Ha ha ha! Look at all these people who are thinking ahead and preparing for storms and recession and things like that. What a bunch of idiots, right? Look at them hoarding the toilet paper. You know, ha ha ha. So that's how I felt. So I watched the pre-interview with Ariana Le Pen, and they showed a little trailer for it. And I think I was a little quick to my judgment. Now, the show airs at 9 p.m. tomorrow. I will be watching it. I will give you my feelings on it sometime next week. But it doesn't sound like that's where this came out in the angle. Okay. So I'm gonna withhold all of that emotional reaction that I brought into it, and try to approach this and view it with an open mind, because in the interview, she kind of said that she came out of it with different viewpoint. I'm trying to paraphrase here. I don't know exactly how she said it. Different viewpoint from what she thought she was going to find, and that she was almost left questioning, and she hopes the viewers left questioning with, why aren't you preparing? Okay, so let's see how this goes. I apologize, Miss Le Pen, if you watch this, for my emotional reaction and being triggered, but we, the community, have been mistreated by mainstream media, and that's fact. And we've been exploited by media companies to get a good laugh at the idea of thinking ahead, preparing ahead, having some grocery stocked back, having a little bit of pantry items, toilet paper and things like that, right? Preppers aren't hoarders. That was another thing that, you know, like after last year, oh, the preppers are hoarding all the toilet paper. No. Preppers had our toilet paper before this stuff started, okay? We weren't hoarding anything. We already had it. So that's the idea of preparedness, is thinking ahead. And I started when I was young in Boy Scouts, and my mom taught me about gardening and taught me about plants. And then my dad, who was 82nd Airborne, taught me about some cold weather survival. And I took some survival classes in Boy Scouts, and I just took to it, and I really liked it, and I kept learning more and more and following people who could teach me more and reading books about it, and that's how I got into it. But I never called it prepping, and I never considered myself a prepper until that show came out, which labeled it Doomsday Preppers. So I don't expect that my video is going to change anyone's mind about the terminology. It is what it is. That's the term that's used right now, and it's not like the most offensive thing in the world, but the show, I think, makes it a trigger for me. Now, let me check out your comments here. All right, I got to back up here a little bit. So Sherry, you are a gardener and seed saver, so I love that. I actually do talk a lot about gardening and seed saving in my videos. And when I get to do that GAW, I'm going to be sending out some seeds. I actually have a mini partnership with Pine Tree Garden Seeds. And if you ever use them to order your seeds, use coupon code SARGE10 and you will get 10% off any order that's 20% or more. The landlords are getting a bad deal. Yep. Quite the conundrum. So Pilgrim Radio, that's an interesting question. I think I didn't get into that. I was starting to talk about that, what about all this abandoned property. I don't know if certain states have that, but my thought was, like, when this thing's finally done, right? Like when the eviction moratorium's finally done, you're gonna have a lot of mom and pops. They're like, I'm out, done. You know, I can't operate a business when there's a chance that somebody's going to come along and say you don't deserve to get paid, right? It wasn't. I know I'm exaggerating a little bit, where somebody says you can't get paid. It's the law. You can't get paid. So how many of those landlords? You know, they're most of them, like I said, 70%, maybe 80%. I don't know what the actual number was. I read it a while ago, but they're just middle class incomes, right? They're not making people. Trust me, I've got a small business. People think like, oh, you have a business, you're rich. No, I am not rich. Trust me. I have a roof repair that we are trying to figure out how we're going to pay for. We have a car repair that needs to get made. One of our appliances is broken. Like, we are struggling, not as much as a lot of people, but we're not rich, okay? And so a lot of these mom and pop landlords are going to be like, I can't operate a business like that. So they're going to be like, done, and they're going to sell. That's going to be a ton of rental property that's suddenly available on the market. And think about all these stores, like even here in Charleston, which is a tourist city, we have a lot of places have closed down, right? So who's buying that all up? Who's going to buy up all these rental properties, right? Other middle-class families, or is it going to be the top 1%? You can think about that. Yeah, I agree with you, Maccabeus. I question the legality of that, and maybe they'll be able to get, I don't know, but maybe they can get some kind of recourse. Ends up finding out they bought BMW. Yeah, that's probably has happened with some, that they spent some money on stuff they shouldn't have. But you know, I tend to give people the benefit of the doubt and think that maybe that's a small amount. Yeah, Silver Oceans, exactly. People think of, like, everybody's got these doomsday bunkers that we're preparing for some kind of zombie apocalypse and things like that. You know, the whole concept of the bunker, right? Like, how many people who are preppers really even have a bunker? I don't, you know. And when I was in Kentucky, I had a tornado shelter. Was that a bunker? I don't know. But most people don't. Most people don't. I mean, that's such an exaggerated mindset. Now, I know in this film, she's studying a community of people who did that, right? So, like, again, there was a reason why the film is about that community, I believe. Survivalism, yep, everyday modern survivalism. That's I used to say that a lot in my video, like that I was talking about modern day survivalism, right? Dealing with the everyday SHTF. Stuart's been doing it since childhood. I love that. That's awesome. Oops, I lost my place here. Gotta back it up. Okay. Folks have called you all sorts of names. Prepper was never one of them until recently. Yeah, I agree. People used to ask me, like, when they knew that I was into the foraging and stuff like that, they would say, are you a survivalist? I mean, I guess. I guess that there needs to be a term for it, but again, I never used those terms until other people started using those terms to define it. For me, I guess if I used anything, it was wilderness survival, but that's because that's what it was called in Boy Scouts. And, you know, when you're a Boy Scout, you're doing a lot of hiking and camping, which I love. So you had to learn some of that stuff. What if you got lost? And I did. I've gotten lost in the woods a couple times. I've gotten lost hiking. I got lost in the desert. I got stories to share, you know. I got lost pretty bad a couple times, actually. And yes, I know navigation. Like, it can happen, guys. You know, one of the biggest reasons why hikers get into trouble is we get overconfident, right? So, like, this is one of the most common things is, like, they go out, I'm just going to scout out an area, and you don't tell anyone. and you don't bring all your kit with you, right? I know. You should always have like a little mini kit with you. I get it. But you get overly confident in your skills and like, I'm just going to check out this trailhead. Oh, I'm going to go a little bit further. Let me go a little bit further. It gets dark. You get turned around. You know, there's ways that this happens to very experienced people. Thank you, Jess. It's good to see you. Jess, are you gonna get to do a review of that Galaxy cruiser in Florida? I hope so. I saw some previews of that. That thing looks really cool. I know it's super expensive, but I would love to go see that. Yeah, I agree. Again, Maccabeus, I agree with you. That's kind of why I have to use it. Is if I don't use the word prepper or prepping, people aren't going to even find my channel. Yeah, and I think survivalist did get kind of a black, it got a kind of a negative connotation to it after a while too. Thanks, Oceans. They just shoot you and take your stuff. Talk about a lazy response. Yeah, Bacon. I don't like that either. I'm not into like the roving. Like if we had a real bad kind of situation, that people who think I'm going to take somebody else's stuff. Like if that's your attitude, this is not the channel for you. I am not about that. If anything, I'm about like learn these skills so that you can help other people around you in your neighborhood, in your community. Learn the medicinal plants, learn the edible plants, learn how to garden. Because if we really do get into a bad situation, people are going to need people who know this stuff, right? Just like they're going to need doctors and they're going to need dentists and they're going to need hopefully counselors, right? Hopefully there's a need for me. And they're going to need soldiers, right? And they're going to need people who can do security and stuff like that too. How much less TP gets used if you're a single guy with your own place? Bacon, I kind of, now you're making me wish that our guy Toilet Bowl Food Reviews was here. I love that channel. You guys got to check that one out. Toilet Bowl Food Reviews. Hey, Silver Scorpion, it's good to see you. Let's see, Dr. Herbalist, I don't think I've seen you here before. Thank you for joining us. You're 100 air. I love that. Let's see, who else we got? Yeah, if you can get a bunker, Bacon. Just don't tell anybody where it is because everyone's going to try to get in there. All right, I think I'm all caught up. And okay, Jess, I hope you get to go. I know it's super expensive. So if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you guys know I'm a Star Wars fan. They're getting closer to opening the Disney Star Wars Galactic Cruiser Hotel, and it's a 2-night. It's not just a hotel though. It's an experience. It's a like an interactive thing. So you'd be like interacting with characters in the skit, and there's probably meals involved with that. And yeah, I think it includes your tickets to the Star Wars theme park, Black Spire, I think is what it's called. And it's $2,400 a person for 2 nights, so it's super expensive, but it does look really, really cool. If you haven't seen it, you can search for that later on. Disney Galactic Cruise, I think is what it's called. Walk in Harmony Homestead. Hi, welcome. I don't think I've seen you here before, so thank you. Welcome to the channel. Stuart, I don't know if Disney has weird rules about cosplay. Like they don't want you dressing as characters. Now the hotel experience, maybe they'll lift that, but I think in the park they don't want you dressing as characters because they don't. The main reason is they don't want people to think that you work for Disney, right? And you could see that there could be a security issue here, especially like little kids, and somebody could. I don't want to get into it, but somebody could take advantage of that and get little kids hugging them that shouldn't be doing that. If you get what I mean. So there's a good reason for it. They do let you do, like you can dress in the colors and themes of Star Wars, but they don't want you dressing as a character. Jess, did I explain that right? The costume issues? Yeah, and you're right, Bacon. Absolutely, you're going to need people who can do manual labor in those situations, people who can fix cars and carpentry and things like that. That's always going to be in a need. And in fact, as somebody who's, I don't mind telling you this, I'm still paying my school loans from a long time ago, from decades ago. I would encourage people to think about going into trades as opposed to, unless you're really passionate about it going into university and that kind of stuff. If you're really passionate about it and you know that that's what you want to do, that's great. But try to manage that debt as best you can to not take on any more than you have to. Trade schools definitely can be more affordable, and if you and there's always going to be a need for it, I think. All right, so I think I'm going to get into the survival story here because we're getting close to. I usually, for those of you who are new, I usually try to wrap it up by 8:30 because there's a couple channels that I'm friends with that start their streams. If you haven't already done so, if you're enjoying my content, please consider giving me a like. If you're brand new to the channel, please consider subscribing. I drop videos at least twice a week. Always do this Friday night live stream, the Friday night prepper pre-party show. I would love to have you join me. And let's get into. I've been doing these survival stories on Friday nights. I try to end with one that's uplifting. So this is the story of James and Jennifer Stolpa. Some of you may recognize this. And this occurred December 29th, 1992. So this was long before cell phones. They had left their home in California. They were at a funeral in Idaho, and they had 2 young children with them. On the way back, they hit some pretty severe snowstorms, and they had to take a different road. On the way doing that, they thought they were going in the right direction. They ended up going many miles off course, and they got stuck in a snowbank. They had no choice but to stay in their car. There was no GPS equipment either. So that, you might say, well, maybe they should have had maps or whatever, but it was probably nighttime when this happened, and they, the road that they were trying to take was closed, so they took a detour. You could see how this would have happened, especially prior to GPS and cell phones. They did have a lot of food with them, and they were okay there for a while. They stayed in their car for 4 nights thinking that somebody might come down that road, but it was a heavily snowed in road. And so they eventually had to make the decision that nobody was coming. So they set off, and they took all their food, a sleeping bag, and a way to start a fire. That's smart, right? The snow was waist deep at this point, and it was freezing winds. After 12 miles, they completely couldn't, because of the snow drifts, they couldn't tell where the road was. So they turned around and they walked 30 hours until Jennifer, the wife, was too exhausted to walk anymore. So they found a small, shallow cave, and it had a little bit of covering from some brush. So James decided that, again, nobody was coming to find them. So he was going to have to go and get help. So Jennifer stayed in the cave with the children, and he plunged back out into the snow and the wind to try to find help. Check this part out. Dude walked for 30 miles. He came until he finally found a home. 30 miles in freezing weather. Again, the great thing about these survival stories is that, you always think about this and you're like, I couldn't do that. But when that time comes in, the will to survive is amazing. Okay, it's that I can't imagine this guy was walking in waist deep snow for 30 miles. It's awesome. So he did find a home, and it was the home of actually a road maintenance worker, and James was in pretty bad shape at this point, had a lot of frostbite. But he was able to describe the route back, which again is also pretty awesome. So the owner of the home was David Peterson, and he had a front end loader, with like a snowcat, and he went looking for James's wife, and then a rescue party was organized at that point. They did find the family. They were just about out of food and water, but they were alive. Everybody was taken to the hospital, and the mom had managed to keep the kids from getting severe frostbite. So she must have covered them with her body or whatever and used her body to keep them warm. James and Jennifer did lose a lot of their toes to frostbite, but they lived. Their story is, they made a film about it called Snowbound, the Jim and Jennifer Stolpa story. As soon as our live stream is over here, I'm going to link a copy of that in the DVD for Amazon. If you use it, of course, I get a little commission. I appreciate that. But that's a really cool story, right? Like, he plunged out and basically walked across the tundra for 30 miles and didn't stop, didn't give up, didn't pass out. And she kept those kids from getting frostbite by protecting them, presumably with her own body. I don't know how else she could have done it. It is just awesome. It is just awesome. You're never, as what's the expression from Lone Survivor? You are never out of the fight, right? You're never out of the fight. Let me check comments one more time, then we're gonna wrap it up here. You're gonna dress up as Goku. That would be funny. That would be funny. Or go into the Avengers theme park, which they're building dressed up as Superman or one of the DC heroes. I love it. No one is coming to save you. Yeah, so sometimes you have to be your own rescue. Y'all are awesome. Thank you so much for joining me again tonight for the Friday night Prepper Pre-Party show. I will see you again next week. I'm going to try to get something released on Tuesday as well. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. Hope you do some fun stuff. I'm going to leave the chat going for just a second here in case anybody wants to plug. If you've got a video coming out this weekend or if you've got a live stream this weekend, go ahead and plug it in the comments. In the meantime, keep planting your seeds, keep stacking your silver. This is Prepping with Sarge. You're very welcome, Bacon. I enjoy it. I think that's part of it is, you know, we got to keep people inspired. I love these stories. And I have another one, I didn't get time to do this, about a Medal of Honor recipient who crashed his plane on purpose to help his wingman, to get to his wingman who had crashed. So I'm going to save that one for another day. Stuart, thanks for joining me. Silver Scorpion. When's your event, Silver Scorpion? Bacon's got the closing hour. So are you not doing that anymore? You're not going to do your live stream anymore? Oh, that's right. Yeah. Since you mentioned it, Silver Scorpion, he's got Silver Scorpion's working on a huge giveaway. Y'all need to check out his channel. Okay, I'll check it out, Jess. Thank you. Yeah, that reminds me, Scorpion, I'm going to send you out something too for when you do yours. I haven't forgot. I've just been super, super busy. Where's the box now? So Silver Scorpion's got a box that's going around the country that people are adding stuff to. I still got time? Okay. Oh, okay. You're gonna do a little bit. Bacon, we gotta get you from not getting kicked, man. We don't want you to get kicked. By the way, if anybody's still watching, do you know what my thumbnail? Do you know if anybody recognizes that? It's from a CNN. I'm gonna let you guys do your own detective work to see where that came from. It is from a CNN thing from the 90s. That's all I'm gonna say. And I'm using it under the terms of the fair use law for commentary and parody, since I was talking about the CNN short film that's coming out tomorrow night. Third stop of fortune. Oh yeah, Silver Scorpion. That's got a long way to go. So yeah. So I guess that's it. This weekend, I got to get that car repair done that I was mentioning before. I got to take care of that. And that's it. Yard work. It's so hot and so rainy here. It's hard to get much done. I do have some stuff in the queue that I got to edit. But that's it. I don't have a whole lot of fun stuff planned. Happy birthday, Bacon, if you're still here. Yeah, Silver Scorpion, do you want to drop a link to your channel there? I need to add some of you guys as moderators here too. Let me see. Maybe I can do it well. me see if I can pull up Silver Scorpion's channel here real quick. And don't forget, while I'm doing this here, don't forget, y'all, that Merchant Metals is probably going on here in a few minutes. And I don't remember if Morgan from Rogue Preparedness was going on at 9 or 9:30. I know last week she was having some technical difficulties. All right, let's see if I can. I'm going to try to drop a link to Silver Scorpion's channel here. Let's see if this works. All right, that should take you to Silver Scorpion's channel there. Yeah, I'm gonna hook you guys up. I'm gonna make. I need to add some mods, anyways. All right, guys, I'm gonna call it. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Everybody have a wonderful weekend. Have fun. Spend time with your family. Do something good for yourself too. And I will see you next time. Oh, hey, CoinHound. I was just wrapping up. But you can watch the recap if you want. I appreciate you popping in. All right, guys, I'm going to close it out. Have a great weekend.